welcome back to the arena. I'm joined here with Jintan. We have Esports Petopia versus Dockworkers. Now, Esports Petopia actually has a very interesting ship in their lineup. Tell us about their team, Jin.
Give me a second, just getting used to the setup here. But what I'm seeing first of all is that Rabisu, or Rabiasu, as I used to continually mispronounce it as. And for those of you who don't know, that is the Blood Raider logistics ship. It has a bonus to newts, and it's going to have a bunch of bonuses to its reps as well. So you're going to be seeing a logistics fly, a role that you are not familiar with, taking an offensive and defensive role at the same time here.
Yeah, and the Dockworkers have brought out the Nighthawk
Loki already off here, though. We can see the jackdaw there of the Dockworkers burning right in the back there. He looks like he's trying to put down some damage and really start off this match well. Looks like he's being caught by the retribution of Jane Hobb, though.
Yeah, that was a bit interesting. This is actually a rocket jackdaw, and he kind of charged in, and it looks like he ended up getting screened off by Jane Hobb there. And it looks like he might end up being in a bad position now.
It does look like they've got pre-reps on him, though, so he should be able to hold for at least a little bit here. They've got webs on that other jackdaw as well. Right now, we just got this massive brawl taking place as all of the tackle web each other down, trying to fight for positioning here. You can see Orca in the Zweeple also scrammed and painted, taking a ton of damage, but getting repped up there as well by the Rabisu.
Yeah, it looks like he is dropping low, though. That Zweeple is about to drop, and he's gone.
Wow, that is pretty crucial here because that's one web off the field. That's going to give the blue team a much bigger chance of moving around these jackdaws. You can see there the colonel in a jackdaw is now free. You can see those webs start to apply to the sacrileges, and that is going to be brutal. That's going to stop those hams from getting on top of those Nighthawks and really starting to make that big red bar grow on the red team. You can see right now it's just piddly. They are putting out next to nothing, and Dockworkers are really hammering things home.
Yeah, they haven't really been able to make damage stick. I was saying that Valasius's Nighthawk is taking a lot of damage now.
Yeah, but it looks like the scalpels are going to be able to hold him for now. None of those scalpels are tackled, and it doesn't look like any of the sacrileges or Zweeples have been able to pull in close to him. It does look like Slav in the jackdaw is tackled once again, though. You can see tackle just spreading across both teams here, really. It is going to be chaos down there. They've got to try and make sure that they can pick off one ship at a time. That Absolution is not breaking either. Back to 100% HP. It looks like they're swapping to Zing Zeng Z in the Sacrilege instead.
Yeah, Valasius is about to go down. And what's really interesting, actually, is sort of the backline fight that's taking place. The Crusader from Esports Petopia, as well as the Retribution, have actually tackled those jackdaws off to make sure that they can't get into the backline and harass that Rabisu.
That Nighthawk going down is brutal for Dockworkers. That's going to cost them both a ton of DPS and their boosts. I think that was their shield links as well. So they've only got 30 seconds with that massive chunk of HP. Then we're going to watch it drop. You can see their Colonel taking a huge amount of damage, already in 20% shields, whilst the Crusader of Owen is also taking huge chunks of damage. The DPS here is really getting turned onto the support, whilst Dockworkers also try and take down the Sacrilege of Error Code. There is just tons of damage getting spread around both sides here, just shooting at whatever they can get good application towards. Iragonal, the second Nighthawk, taking a ton of damage here. If that guy goes down, that is going to be a huge blow to Dockworkers' chances, and I don't think there's much chance of them bringing it back if he goes down as well. They've got to keep him alive.
Yeah, they did manage to kill that Crusader, so one of the jackdaws is now free to move in and wreak havoc somewhere else.
Iragonal in armor, in structure. This could be it. There we go. That's a second Nighthawk down. That you can see the massive shrinkage of the attack bar on Dockworkers there. Now, things are looking even on the applied bars, but you can see the defense bar for the red team is much, much bigger, even as the Sacrilege of Error Code goes into half armor here. The Loki of Alazar seems like he's the next primary, and he's already tackled. There's no chance of him getting away. They've just got to trade this out and hope that they can win.
I definitely think the advantage is definitely on the Esports Petopia side, because that Rabisu just still was unchecked the whole match, and obviously a Rabisu is going to out-rep two Scalpels.
Yeah, you can actually see him putting his newts on Alazar, and his newts will operate in the standard Blood Raider way, so he can use his NOS even if his opponent is above their above their level of capacitor. And wow, that Loki just drops through hull. Possibly didn't even have a damage control with how quickly that thing went down.
Yeah, and now Goosey Uzi's Loki is taking a ton of damage. It looks like they're probably not going to be able to break error code at this point. Looks like Akazora's Purifier might get picked off by one of these jackdaws.
Yeah, things looked a bit sketchy there in the early game with Dockworkers being able to take control of the support fight, but just the amount of DPS that the Dockworkers could put out just wasn't enough to break through those Rabisu reps, and eventually the tackle and the DPS that Esports were able to bring to the field just won out. You can see there Bucci again. It's a slow grind, but there is nothing that they can do to stop it at this point. Their DPS just isn't enough to break those Rabisu reps. Although they do snipe a Purifier there.
Yeah, taking that up Purifier is going to help a bit. Maybe not too much because the Lokis probably don't take full damage from Torps and they have good EM resists, but another Loki down.
Yeah, this is a brutal one. You got to say that this rush comp works, but it doesn't work if it comes up against a brick wall. And here it really did. The Damnation, the Absolution, the Sacrilege, it was just so much EHP that they couldn't clear it off the field in time for the active tank that they had. And you can still see it there, that tiny purple bar. That's what they were hoping would pull them through the last half of this match. And it just wasn't able to be there versus the massive wall of EHP that Esports presented.
Yeah, we've seen some like cruiser bans sometimes when teams pick this Nighthawk Loki team, but Esports Petopia just did such a phenomenal job of screening, making sure those jackdaws didn't catch the Rabisu, and the sacrileges all like splitting off and all marking a Loki each, just to make sure that Rabisu is just able to remain unchecked behind in the back lines, and as a consequence, it looks like that Rabisu won the match to them.
Yeah, and equally, we did see Dockworkers go for those sacrileges, trying to web them down early on in the match and trying to take control of it that way, basically using their Lokis as mid-range range control, but it just wasn't enough to allow them to eventually slip past and tackle the Rabisu, as you said. And now it's just a little handful of support there, trying to live for as long as it can. Bifrost, Jackdaw, Scalpel. This is a very, very commanding victory from Esports.
Yeah, apparently these guys are, I think they're an offshoot of Fraternity, or they're ex-Fraternity, and they have quite a nice bit of tournament pedigree there with the Fraternity team, I believe, in AT16, AT15, always putting out like a pretty strong showing.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see, on the other side, always interesting to see teams come in from low sec, which is where Dockworkers typically play. They've always had a good reputation, able to get into the middle of the tournament. And I think these guys still have another game to play, right? Another tournament life left?
No, this is elimination here.
Well, that's very unfortunate. This is not the best time for them to be docking up.
Unfortunately, I don't think Twitch chat spammed the cock enough for them to win.
Come on, Twitch chat. You got to do better than that. You gotta really let the people who with the funny names know that you're supporting them. Here, as we see Slav, the first person to take damage on the Dockworkers team, finally going down, and it looks like that's going to be the end of things there, with the Bifrost going down as well. What an amazing match!
Yeah, it was a great match, and I guess you'll talk about it some more with Ithaca Hawk when you throw back to the studio.